Tim Cook may step down as Apple CEO as early as next year, says reports. This is from Entrepreneur Magazine. Rob, is this him speaking or is this him?
This is a Reuters report on the succession plan.
Go for it. Go for it.
Apple is stepping up its succession plans as it prepares for CEO Tim Cook to step down as soon as next year. That's according to a report in the Financial Times, which cited several people familiar with discussions. The report said that John Ternus, Apple's senior vice president of hardware engineering, is widely seen as Cook's most likely successor. Apple insiders were quoted as saying the company's board and senior executives had recently intensified plans for Cook to hand over the reins after more than 14 years at the helm. The report also said that Apple is unlikely to name a new CEO before its next earnings report in late January, which covers the critical holiday period. Cook became CEO in 2011 after Silicon Valley legend Steve Jobs resigned, ending his reign at the tech giant he co-founded in 1976 in his parents' garage.
Brandon, thoughts?
Yeah, so I guess you could take the approach with this of Apple wouldn't be what it is today without Tim Cook, but also you could take the approach of saying that Tim Cook was just like this conservative guy who inherited the creations that Steve Jobs already created and played it safe, and maybe, you know, was the right fit at the right time where he just did the conservative things instead of the overly aggressive things, and they blossomed into like the $4 trillion company because of the conservative nature of him. But also people are criticizing Apple for not being innovative enough and not doing anything with AI, not creating a lot of new products over the last couple of years. So I think it's kind of like a debate between those two things. Like, I wonder what would have happened if Steve Jobs had not died and wasn't CEO from until today instead of Tim Cook. Maybe Apple wouldn't be the same. Maybe it'd be much bigger. But I don't know. I think that's something interesting to consider. I don't think it'll be I think it's probably time for him to step down, and it could be a good thing because they're at kind of a point where they haven't done anything
That's the
exciting.
criticism. The criticism is right there, what you said. What is the new product? So versus if Steve was there, maybe they would have had new products. To me, I'm 50-50. I think sometimes crisis happens. And nobody expected him to, when he got his cancer, he started doing his walks, and everybody's wondering, who are you going to get? And he brought the finance guy on. Bit of a guy that's the safer guy, and he came in and he did a decent job. He took it from where it was at, and right there, if you look at it, from October 5th, 2011, which is when Steve Jobs died, to today. Actually, I think, was it October 11th when he died? October 5th, 2011. Yeah, when he died, to today, 2,280% return.
Yeah.
And you know what I did? I ran 14 years prior to that to see how that compares against Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was at the previous 14 years. He had a rate of return of 8,600. So he 86x the business, where, Tim Cook 23x. But that makes sense. The company was newer. The company was, had newer announcements that was being made. A lot of the products was made under Jobs. So you would expect that uptick. But Tom, where are you at with this here?
So a couple things. First of all, I think he did a good job making a very nimble, profitable, driving Apple. But the succession plan that they needed 5 years ago, and it's the product succession plan. Mm-hmm. It's to diversify that. I'll give you a very interesting stat here. At its peak, Apple had 18%, global phone market share. Because remember, once you get outside the United States, Android's everywhere.
That's right.
And now it's 17%. Now, the smartphone marketplace is bigger. So the 17% is of a bigger pie. However, the pie is now looking to slowly shrink for two reasons. One, most everybody has a phone. Phone penetration isn't going to be the magic push. Get one for mom, get one for your kid. We've played that game, right? In Europe, in the United States, and in developed Asia, which is Korea and Japan. All of that's there. However, the other part of it is they're making phones too good. People are not replacing their phones the way Apple once experienced. So people are keeping phones longer. And if the economy's not so good and the phone's working just fine, you don't replace it here in the US. And so they need more product, they need more push. And I think the next CEO is going to have to inherit an Apple that, just like under Tim Cook, needs to kind of find its way forward.
Jeff?
I think what you said exactly right. I mean, the criticism is, why didn't Apple reinvent itself to a certain extent 10 years ago? were they just happy, just, the business that they had built, the jobs had built, and just managing the mature life cycle of the business? And why weren't they pioneering new fields in technology?
And did you see who's replacing Tim, though? The VP of product, right? The SVP of product.
Did they get the message a little bit too, to your point, did they get a little bit too late?
Yeah. But guess what? Listen, they're making a move. We're going to learn. This guy here, you're going to hear a lot of his name if this guy ends up replacing him because he's reporting to Tim Cook. So he's been hardware engineer since 2021. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Universal Pen guy. What else do we know about him? He began his career as a mechanical engineer designing virtual reality headset at Virtual Research Systems. Joined Apple in 2001 as a member of the product design team, working first on Apple Cinema Display. In 2013, he was appointed vice president of hardware engineer under Dan Riccio, and he oversees the product of AirPods, Mac, and iPad. All right. I mean, sounds like a qualified guy for them. If you got big plans for 2026, I am telling you right now, I can't tell you how many conversations we're having about business planning. There's a reason why we went less than 22 hours to Dallas and come back, because we want to see exactly what's happening with 2026. We're planning for our family, for our businesses, ourselves. And if 2026 is a big year for you as well, I want you to watch this clip. Rob, can you go to the clip with the Jenga to show them what happens when it comes onto business plan and how all of these things are necessary? Go ahead, Rob.
Business is a lot like Jenga. Every piece matters. You need a vision. Do this carefully. You need capital. You definitely need capital. Put this here. Ooh, listen, hanging on one piece here, by the way. You need the right team, for sure.
This almost fell off, by the way.
You need sales. As good as this looks, if your foundation isn't built on a good business plan, you know what happens? The whole thing crumbles. If you have big plans for 2026, on December 12th, I'm hosting an event called the Business Planning Workshop, where all day we go through the 12 building blocks of writing an effective business plan. So this doesn't happen to you. If you haven't yet registered, click on the link below. Let's spend an entire day together on December 12th. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Folks, click on the link below, get registered. You can watch it with your friends, family, and this is going to be people watching this from 100-plus countries, and you can find a way to just get registered at the lowest level, or you can find a way to be on the screen so everybody can see each other, and at the end, we'll do a Q&A for 90 minutes. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here, and if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.